What's up, everybody? Nate Sarantino here, back with another episode of the Guided Spirits podcast. And today's episode is going to be more on my life and what I'm currently going through. And I'm just going to give y'all, an update about, the shit that's actually going on in my life. So, to begin, I'm not going back to college this fall of 2023. It was a very hard decision to make, but I want to focus on my public speaking career, and I am really yearning to get a TEDx talk, and I'm gonna focus on that for the next several months, and I'm gonna focus on learning from the great public speakers of society from the last 100 years, practically speaking. There's just so many great motivational speakers, people who have great clarity, they have great passion and great word choice and articulation. You can learn so much from so many speakers, and the first people that come to my mind are people like Alan Watts, Tony Robbins, and then I think of a lot of other people. Ryan Stewman, always, his passion always got me. I really always thought Jordan Peterson was great at articulation, and his word choice is incredible, and I've been thinking, that's really what I want to do. The reason I made the podcast in the first place is because I love talking and I love the idea of teaching people. So if I can get better at communicating my ideas to other people, whether that's through my podcast or through speaking on stage, or I want to eventually, which is what I'm working right now for this, is investing some money into some new equipment for this podcast. I'm still recording the podcast on my iPhone 8, and it works exactly how it's supposed to. The quality's there. It's not the best, and if you can tell from my last episode that I recorded on a microphone at my friend Joey's podcast studio, and it was incredible. Everything sounded great. I listened back to a decent amount of it, enough to see how much better it was, and I was like, wow, it's worth it. And he kept telling me it's worth investing into. So I'm gonna get some. I think I'm gonna go with 3 microphones, so I can really start building some content with other people. And I'm gonna get a few cameras, probably one to start, just so I can get everyone in the frame and make it simple for the sake of editing. And I will go about it that way, and I will get this podcast going better and better for you all, because I love doing it, and I really didn't want to do anything today when I got home from work. I've only slept 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours since Saturday night. That's how long Monday night, and now it's Tuesday night, and I'm just really I'm just so exhausted, and I really need to sleep a little bit more. And I just I still feel the urge to I just love talking and sharing what's going on, and the idea of you could do anything with your life. What would you do? Well, this is what I would do. This is what I want to get paid to do. This is what I'm making. My entire life is around the idea of being paid to speak my mind, and I use that to bring other people up. And when you bring other people up with the words that you say, you bring positivity to them, you show them the light, you show them the beauty of the world, you give them new perspectives, you help them form their mindset, you teach universal law. There's everything you go through for a reason, and the reason is to share it and show people how to make it through similar instances and similar experiences that they'll go through on their journey, or situations, I should say. The experience will be different, but the situation might be the same. and if you can make it through, you're gonna become a much better person on the other side. And so not going back to school was a really tough decision, and but I have a feeling like it's gonna be for the best, and I may end up going back after. It's not a may. I will go back, but when I go back is up to question. I still have a passion for mental health, which is like, I think it's like second to my passion for like speaking and like teaching. And if I use that, like I really wanted to go into clinical psychology, and specifically I want to study chemical addictions, study the chemistry of the brain, and target mental illnesses from a chemical standpoint, and focus on psychedelic-assisted therapies, specifically with psilocybin. I believe psilocybin is one of the most powerful compounds or I should say, like, when psilocybin's digested by the body and it's broken down, the next step, that's actually the psychoactive, and it is psilocin. And that's, like, really, like, that is, like, one of the most powerful compounds that this, like, universe has. And on top of, like, dimethyltryptamine, DMT, there's not many other things that are much more powerful than it. And the thing that I really love about psilocybin is, like, the key to self-mastery is introspection. And if you really want to become your best self and find your identity, you have to start looking in. And if you really are one with the universe and you're looking for the meaning of life, well, every creation wants to understand why it was created, but to figure out why you were created, you must look within. If you are the universe, the answer is inside of you. So instead of looking around, look in, go into your head, go into your mind, and look around, have fun, play with your brain, like, not your brain, but like with your mind. Like, you're so powerful, and there's so much you're capable of, and it's all about how you learn to use your subconscious and conscious mind. It's the connection, and when you turn your conscious into your subconscious into the conscious, you are going to find that you can really manifest and create anything. And at the end of the day, when you let yourself dissolve the ego, I should say, you are going to find a much more peaceful life, a life full of abundance, love, joy, prosperity, vitality. It's just so beautiful. And the idea that, like, you are not your thoughts. And I've been listening to a lot of Grandmaster Wolf on YouTube. If you know him, you should tell him that he's doing great stuff. I should tell him that too. And if you don't, you should look him up. I'll link his YouTube channel in the description. It's well worth it. Especially if you're looking to grow spiritually, that would be the best place to get some information besides this podcast, because I really believe I have knowledge that you could use to grow in a spiritual, mental, and a physical sense. And I keep meeting more people, especially in this past couple weeks. I've met a lot of very significant people in my life, and when I say that, I mean it. It's like the people who have come into my life by God's grace are some of the nicest, kindest, and smartest people I've ever met. And I'm really looking forward to working with them for the rest of my life. I really see a lot of them staying with me for a long time. And just like the other day, I was at the gym. I met this dude, Jayus, in the sauna. We just started talking. We're sitting there, just like, both sweating it out. And we end up leaving, and we walk out of the gym together, and all of a sudden we shoot the shit for 5 hours out by his car, and it's like from 8 p.m. till like after 12 a.m., and I'm like, holy crap, like, we literally just sat here and talked for hours, and like, it was now like last night we had dinner together and talked for like another 3 hours or so, 4 hours. It's like we can't even help it. We just have so much to say, and it's this great conversation, and it really is like that's the beauty of life right there. You meet people and you hit it off and you like make great bonds, and it's just the relationships are so critical in this world that like relationships truly are like the new like economy. Like if you have good relationships, you're gonna be able to prosper far more than someone with poor relationships. And if you don't believe me, well, you're going to find out the hard way. And that's one thing I didn't have to find out the hard way. I found out a lot of things the hard way in my life. And Brad Lee, he's taught me a lot. And if you don't follow Brad Lee on Instagram, you definitely should. His Instagram's The Real Brad Lee. It's one of those accounts that he posts some incredible content. And he voices his opinion. And not only is it just like his truth, but like it's the most like sensical like response you could imagine to so many controversial topics or conversations. And some of them aren't even controversial, but it really is like he's one of those people who the way they see the world, it will like bring light to you. Like he's one of those like lighthouses that like you go and you look at a lighthouse and you're like, holy shit, like look at it. And that's what happens when I see him. And I'm trying to spread these people who I'm finding as lighthouses. The Grandmaster Wolf, Brad Lee. I will get more into Tony Robbins as this next semester comes along. For me, I call it a semester, even if I'm not going to school, because like I'm still gonna be learning and I'm still gonna be studying. Like I study all the time. I recently took a bunch of notes and watched a lot of summaries of Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I'm not really good at reading. Reading's not really one of my things, but I really am good at absorbing information through audio and visual. So especially through visual. So I watch a video and I like can read words while like listening to someone talk, and I like watch a presentation or I watch a lecture. That's like how I'm gonna learn the best, especially if it's in person. So like watching the same video on YouTube like 4, 5, 6, 7 times, you're gonna be able to pick out a lot of stuff, especially when if it's a 15-minute video and say you watch it 8 times, well, that's 2 hours of that same thing going through your head now. And then you imagine the audiobook, like for that book I just talked about, How to Win Friends and Influence People, is like 7 hours long. Well, if I was to listen to that video, what's 7 times 4? 28 times? All right. Is that difficult in reality? I mean, I would literally have all, like, the 9 major lessons out of his book down concrete, like, hard as, like, a diamond. Like, nothing, like, you couldn't break it. Like, I just understand those lessons. And, that's what I do. That's how I learn the things that I learn, and it works really well for me. And, like, anyone can tell you, like, reading's not for me, but like when it comes down to it, like how are you taking in knowledge? What do you do to learn? Because you're definitely not learning if you're not like finding a way to put new knowledge into your brain, whether it be through podcasts, whether it be through videos, whether it be through books. If you can have someone else read the book for you and then summarize the book, and then if you can find multiple people who summarize the book, it's good to look at different people's perspective of the same thing, because you're going to be able to form your own perspective once again. But if I can take down that 7 hours into 2 hours and feel like I nail it down into 2 hours, well, damn, I just took the main points of this 7-hour audiobook now in 2 hours. It's just using my time more valuably. And that's what I see. That's like, most people will be like, but why wouldn't you work on a skill that you want to get better at? I'd prefer to this learn. I love learning. I don't love reading. I would only read to learn, but if I love watching videos and learning from them. That's what I love doing. I do it in my free time almost every day, and it's almost every night I watch some kind of video to learn something new, and it's just how it goes. If you watch the same video over and over again, you're going to be able to repeat what is said in the video, and if the video is telling you facts and truths, well, that means you're going to be able to repeat that, and you should learn how to explain what the video says in your own words. So if you can explain a book in your own words, you obviously understand what the book's saying. So, yeah, these are the things that have been going through my head lately, and I'm really just, talking right now. I needed to get something out today, and I really, I didn't know what, and this is it. Lately, I've been really working on, my spiritual powers and, trying to, activate my chi and figure out, who I am more than, I guess, my identity. I understand who I am. Now, moving on from my identity, how powerful can I become when I really have, my chi activated, when I, can play with fire the way that I was made to play with fire. Now, as what I believe to be a, fire animal, I imagine myself as a lion who is literally, a ball of fire. Imagine that, a lion who's a ball of fire, there's not many things, I breathe fire, when I breathe out, it's flames, and, my eyes, you look into my eyes and you see flames, I'm literally this, I have my soul is a raging fire, there's so much energy behind everything, and I'm trying to tame how I let it out, and be able to let out the fire when I need to, and I keep it going inside of me. I make sure I fuel it. I make sure I eat properly. I make sure I exercise accordingly. And then most importantly, I make sure I put the right things into my body mentally and not just physically. A lot of people do the physical right and then they lack on the mental, and then all of a sudden they wonder why they can't actually produce the results they're looking for. You could do way better if you truly acknowledged what it takes to be one who is at their, they're always elevating their game. They're not at the top of their game, they're always elevating it. And I think that's an important point to make, because you're never going to be at, the top of your game. You're always going to be, you may always be at the top of your game, but you're always going to be making new boundaries. You're always going to be pushing the limits. And if you're not pushing the limits every day, you're going to find yourself in a decline and not an incline, because nothing is stagnant. So you must be pushing your limits. It's the only way. That's my second thing. It's be fearless, be limitless, and be unstoppable. And if those limits, they'll take you down. That's for damn sure. And I don't know. I think that's really where I want to leave this. If there's one thing to take away, it's just that. Be limitless, and the whole thing about being fearless, not being afraid to not go back to school. There's so much uncertainty. If I was gonna be a junior this year at UVM, there's this uncertainty is all around me, and all you can do is believe in yourself and trust that you know what's meant for you. And if something's meant for you, you will you'll make it come true, especially if you put in the work and you're not afraid to be patient through putting in the work. You must put in the right amount of effort, though. If you slack on effort, it's not going to come true. And I hope you all understand what I mean by this. Any dream you can imagine, spiritual, mental, or physical, if you want to be able to set fire to paper with the power of your chi, you can do it. If you want to be able to move water with your mind in a way that is beyond what was like originally thought. I'm talking like moving water, like parting the Red Sea, like the kind of stuff that is like thought to be, let's say, like not possible, but it is. Anything is possible, especially when you understand that you are not you're not you. Like, you are the universe. And the idea of like, if you are the universe, you can manipulate any part of the universe as you please, so long as you remember you don't actually exist. You are nothing but a concept in your mind, but it really comes down to you either being material or you being energy. And you want to live in the world of energy. You don't want to live in the world of material. You can be matter, or you can be the stuff that ties the matter together. And what you truly are is the stuff that ties matter together. Your soul is energy. That energy has properties that can do all kinds of crazy things. And once you leave this, the ethereal plane, and like you move into the astral plane, you go through the first level, the second level, and then the third level. And after the third level, that's when you like become like one with the universe, and you hit like a level of enlightenment. And when you see this, you'll know. So thank you for listening, and I hope you have a great Wednesday. And if you're not listening to this the day it came out, I hope everything in your life is coming together exactly how you can imagine. And most importantly, make sure y'all are spreading love, knowledge, and positivity with everything that you do. And second to that is be fearless, limitless, and unstoppable. Thank you for listening. Have a great rest of your day.